Hugh, off to Happy Valley we go Wednesday night, and I thought you had quite an interesting ride in the first. A horse by the name of Perfect General. I know you haven't ridden him in a race, but just the one start for him, and you've trialled him. What sort of feel did he give you?
He trialled really well, and we know Casper has an affinity with Happy Valley, but he's got a good draw. I think whatever he does tomorrow night, he will improve on as the season progresses, but I think he's done enough and shown enough to give a really forward showing tomorrow night.
Having a look back at his debut, and that was down the straight at Chartin, so he's obviously going up in trip. He looked, Hugh, to shape as if, you know, the further he goes, the better he could well be.
Yeah, I think so, and I think the 1,000 was just simply too short for him. Couldn't keep up, but his trial the other day was good. He felt good underneath me, and you know, like I said, I wouldn't be under any illusion that we're going to see the best of him tomorrow night. But I think he's forward enough to run a competitive race.
Yeah, he does look like an interesting horse. I must ask you, while we're here at the trials this morning, you kept the saddle warm, if you will, on Romantic Warrior. How did he trial?
Really well. I was delighted with him. First public outing for this campaign, and you know, Danny was keen for him to do some work, but obviously he's got a long road ahead of him, so he didn't need to bust himself, but he did it really comfortably. Not sure whether he won or was closely beaten, doesn't matter. But yeah, he felt unreal under me, and he had a good blow, so that'll tighten him up a bit, and Romantic Warrior fans should see him pick up where he left off last year, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? And I guess just on the story that continues to develop with this horse, I mean, if we cast our memories back far enough, I mean, he debuted around the Valley, won there, and everyone said, well, this could be quite a nice horse, but I guess nobody really expected him to do what he has done.
Well, I suppose he'd already achieved a great deal before I sat on him, but that's no surprise to me.
And just on him, Hugh, as a horse, obviously you've ridden many, many, many good horses. What is it about Romantic Warrior, the feel that he gives you, that you know, you sort of says, well, you know, this guy is very, very good?
Well, he's got a great temperament, and you know, he wants to win. And you know, I think the wonder will always be how good is he, because he only ever wins by short margins, but he always does win. So, you know, I don't know what the plan is for him this season, but look, it's always a pleasure to work with a top line horse, and you know, I think Romantic Warrior might be a bit better than top line. I think he's this type of horse that comes along once in a lifetime, and although I'm not his race day jockey, it's lovely to work with him on a few occasions, and his temperament, he's got a great will to win, and he's been well managed. So, you know, it's important, and that's what it takes to get the best out of these horses.
Andrea, race 5 on Wednesday night at Happy Valley is a good competitive one over 16.50. You're going to get back on board a horse you know really well in Simply Maverick. You've trialled him recently. How did he trial?
Yeah, no, it was his second trial this year and this season, and he trialled good. I went up to Champfoy and I sat on him, and yeah, no, he jumped nicely. He travelled good into this trial, and he picked up quite nicely when I asked him to. So he seems ready to go, and no, he's a horse that, like you said, I know quite well, and nice to get back on him.
Were you and the team, I suppose, quite mindful that at the end of the season, obviously on the softer ground, there was that rather disappointing effort where he was beaten a long way? Is it just a case maybe of sort of getting that confidence back with him through the trials?
Sure, and obviously had a quite long season as well last season. He started quite early. He was sort of aiming, to do his 4-year-old races. We actually thought at one stage he could even be a Derby horse. So he obviously he started off quite early. So he had a long enough season, and towards the back end, probably the ground went for him anyway. And but no, he's freshened up now. He's well, and Happy Valley. He's got some good form there. So it's just nice to be back there.
Yeah, 140 days off the track. And talking of his form, I mean, he was second a couple of runs ago off 74, runs here off 76. I mean, you know him very well and what he's able to do around the course and distance. And I guess on his day, then he's as good as any in this, isn't he?
Oh, he is, yeah. He's, at this grade and off that mark, he should be very competitive. He's drawn a bit tricky, I think we drawn 7. And but he's a pretty straightforward horse. Hopefully, if he jumps well, we can get a good position. I wouldn't want to be caught too wide with him, but he's fairly uncomplicated. Like I said, as long as he gets comfortable, he's a big long horse, but he can actually finish off quite nicely. All these races sort of he has won sort of just off the pace. So even I think once I won him sitting second. So as long as he switches off wherever he's comfortable, he'll finish good.
Is there a slight niggle in the back of your mind potentially as his rider that he is 0 from 2 fresh?
Well, yes. Well, he's obviously older now, and he's had 2 trials, I think. He seems ready to go, but there's a good chance he's going to improve from it, which he'd want to anyway. It's only his first run of the season. It's going to be a long season for him, so he wanted to come on for it, and he's ready to go, but it wouldn't surprise me if he takes a run.
Pierre, you've got a couple of runners in race 6 over the 1800 metres. Two, I think, very interesting runners. Let's start with Winning Steps. He's making his seasonal reappearance, 70 days since we last saw him, but he finished last season in good style.
Yeah, he's been knocking the door in the last few runs towards the end of season last season, and hopefully he's getting more and more mature now, and he seems to like Happy Valley more than the Sharteen. So with a good draw, hopefully he can have a good run.
He's trialled well recently for you. You and the team happy with the trial?
Yeah, very happy. He's a staying horse, so he's usually from the back and come up and have a good finish to the line. Happy enough and healthy enough.
I guess you mentioned he is a stayer. Obviously, he has got a win over a bit further as well. So a few of these perhaps do find the 18 a bit taxing. At least your horse will be doing his best work late.
Yeah, definitely. He seems like mile plus. He's doing the job, and he's fit and well. Hopefully we get the first winner for the Karis.
Indeed, yeah. You and Karis teaming up had a good season last term. And I must ask you about Dragon Star, who's going to join him as well. You're backing him up again quickly. He's going up in trip. Just tell me how that sort of plan came about.
We took the blinkers off, or even with the blinkers on last season, he wasn't fast enough now. It seems like he needs further. In last race, he just kept coming and ran fourth. And hopefully extra 150 metres can suit him well.
I guess by design, I mean, we've seen him go forward and sort of blaze a bit of a trail, but last time out, obviously, you just wanted to wait with him. I guess, is that key now that he is going up in trip? Is that certainly the way to sort of ride him, do you think?
We'll try to push him a little bit forward this time, but not really leading him, because from the race last week, we can see that he's losing that speed, and he just keeps developing to line.
Got the informed jockey on as well, Matthew Poon.
Yeah, really informed. Hopefully he can bring us more luck.
Lyle, Yellowfin is a ride for you on Wednesday night. A horse you know extremely well. Good competitive race, however, but he's a good competitive horse.
Yeah, he is. You just know he's going to show up every time. He just gets the races, and I think sometimes, myself included, he sort of underplay him a little bit, and he just raises his game and runs a good race every time he steps out, no matter course and distance. So always a pleasure to be aboard him, and hopefully he just continues on his good ways of last season.
I know you haven't been on him in his sort of trials preparation. The excellent young Isaac Sitt managed to trial him and trial him very well, but you've galloped him. How did he feel?
Yeah, he's. It's funny, early on he used to be quite a strong, keen-going horse in the mornings through to races, everything, and as he's got better and matured, he's become less and less, and just more content in himself and his own work. So his gallop was good, but he didn't show off. He just went through his paces. But what we like to see is that in the trial he was pretty crisp, and he put up a good trial.
It seems like a long time ago now as far as ratings are concerned, but you won on him fresh last season off a 64. He's now up to a thumping 87, but I guess he doesn't help himself really, does he?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Consistency gets... he unfortunately doesn't get rewarded because he just keeps going up without winning, but you know, he's deserved of those points because he obviously just keeps performing. And in his wake, he's had some real nice horses behind him. You know, a couple starts ago at Sharteen, he had the likes of Taj Dragon behind him. So he certainly can up his game when he's required to. And we just hope he can get his nose in front once again.
Does he necessarily have to lead from gate 6?
No, he doesn't. I've won on him from behind them, from one off, from in front. I think he's a tempo-based horse, so he'll be forward and ridden positively, and then depending on the shape of the race maps out, we'll have to decide on our position, but it looks like there's a bit of speed in there, and like you mentioned earlier, it's a very good race, very competitive, so I think whoever gets the best run should have the best opportunity.